No, Steve. He said he seen my grandma headbutt a squirrel in the park for no reason. No reason. But listen to what I said. I said, yeah, right. I seen your mom. What I said? I said, oh, she was eating cereal with a fork to save the milk. Oh, hey, here we go. All right. So this is the first video about interview programming questions. Yes. No. So what you're going to do, you are going to be asked, and this is going to be where it's like, have you been in the gym or have you been in the lab studying your CSS, your HTML, your CSS, or your React? It really depends on, whatever language you're actually utilizing and applying for, you will be asked programming questions. Whether it's a sandbox online, or they give you a homework assignment, or it might be live right within the video interview, who knows? Okay, so today is our first programming challenge. You have Visual Studio open, or you can actually utilize this. You could do this in the actual editor as well. But let's take a look. Let's open up a file. We'll make a directory and start knocking out some interview programming questions for everyone. Okay. And of course, you can add some too. Feel free to add some in the actual comments. But let's make this short, simple, and sweet. Oh, yep, wrong button. Come on. Let's get it together. Okay. So what we have here is we have Visual Studio opened. Let's create, let's just create a file real quick, and we'll call it, we'll just call it index.js. Okay, we'll close this, and I'm going to actually do this with the Node terminal. And how we're going to do that, let's open up the terminal. And from there, this way we'll be able to run it from there. But actually, what directory am I in here? Oh man, do we have index? Yep, we have index.js. All right, perfect. Clear that out, and let's just make sure we're live here. Console.log testing, and let's run that with node index.js. And we have testing there, so perfect. All right, so interview question number 1. We'll do one question. We'll try to do one question per video. All right, let's see. So one of the questions that a lot of developers will get, and since we're doing mobile, we're doing back end later down the road, but primarily focusing on the actual front end with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React as well. These will primarily be questions geared for that. But what's the question? The question is, write a function that will take in 2 parameters. Okay, or actually 2 arguments. We use a potato, and we'll actually add those numbers up. Okay, so it takes in 2 numbers and returns the actual total. Okay, so not too bad. So let's write it here. We're gonna create a function. We'll call it adding 2 nums. We'll call it adding 2 nums. Okay, and it's going to be, I'll make it into an arrow function, and from there we know it's going to return something, but let's actually make sure that it can actually accept 2 parameters. So right now we're working on the definition. Okay, here's the definition, and from here it's going to take in 2 numbers. We'll call them num1 and num2. And what we're going to do with that is add num1 plus num2. And what we can do is console log that, just like that. Now we can't run it because nothing's going to actually run. We need to call the actual function. We defined it, now we need to call it. All right, and the name of the function is adding 2 nums, and we need to have the values, let's test it with 2 and 3. So we are calling the actual function that we defined. Our actual function has two parameters, num1 and num2, in which we're adding those. And what's associated with that is the two arguments. I like to say you're calling, here's your definition, here's your actual function, and you're calling it with the arguments. There we go. All right, and now let's run this. All right, I'll type in node, or actually I just press an up, in which it's node index, and let's see what we get. And we tested it with the numbers 2 and 4, and we have 6 for the total. So, oh, and the reason why I'm getting 6 here is because when I called the actual function, I was console logging it within the actual function itself. Now, I believe I said it needs to return that. So if we wanted to return it, it would be something like this. Let's comment that out, copy it, and uncomment that. And let's just return the actual, and actually I think what we can do here, you can actually type return, but because we have an arrow function, let's do num1 plus num2, and the arrow function has an implicit return, so let's test that out and get rid of this. That way we have one line here. And what do we want to do there? We can actually log the entire thing here. We can, nope, we can return, we can actually set it to an actual variable. Let's say const my value equals. So that way we are calling our actual function here, and we are assigning that value, the return value, to my value. Okay, and let's console log a couple extra lines here, definitely, but at least we get to kind of play around with the data here. And console log my value, and let's try that. And we get 6 again as well. All right, so that's perfect. That is the first interview question. It may not be your interview question, but it definitely lets you see exactly how you can actually get values here. You know, just by simply, okay, giving it some thought, defining the actual arguments and parameters, and there you go. All right, so good luck with those interview questions, and there'll be more on the way. This is the first video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications, and let's start receiving some more information on these videos that I'm dropping. Okay, stack out.